Hi everyone, welcome back. I'm Dai, and today I am bringing you my first impressions on the December Monochrome Manga Club selections. The Monochrome Manga Club is a way for me to talk about the selections I read for my in real life manga club. And so the selections we read for December were Laughing Under the Clouds Volume 1. This one is published by Tokyo Pop, rated teen by Kara Kimuri. And we also read Volume 1 of The Case Study of Vanitas by Jun Mochizuki. This one's published by Yen Press and is rated older teen. We also finished our series read of Parasite, but I will not be talking about Volume 7 and 8 in this video because they are not Volume 1s. So if you'd like to hear my thoughts on Parasite, definitely check out my wrap-up, which will be posted sometime towards the end of the month, maybe early January. So let's talk about Laughing Under the Clouds first. This one is about the three brothers of the Kumo clan, or Kumo family, and they are tasked with transporting criminals by ferry boat to the prison that is in the middle of a lake. And this prison is called Gokumonjo. And so that's kind of their family's job, is to be these ferrymen for these criminals. And in the beginning of this volume, we meet the three brothers, and there is a prisoner escape. And so they are asked to help collect the escaped prisoners. And so we learn a little bit more about the three brothers. We pretty much follow the middle brother, Sora Maru, and we call him Sora for short. And he is kind of, the middle child. He has an older brother who's done amazing things, and the youngest brother really looks up to the oldest brother, and the middle brother just really wants to kind of just be at the older brother's level, or surpass him. And so the older brother goes off and tries to collect the escaped criminals, and he tells the younger brothers to stay home, he'll take care of it. But the middle brother doesn't want to have to do anything with that, and goes off and tries to collect the criminals himself. And he basically gets himself into a little bit of trouble, and that's pretty much all that's in this volume. I mean, we find out a little bit about the prison itself. There's a little bit of a mystery going on there in regards to what's exactly going on at that prison. But the story basically just touches on that. That's the first half of this volume. The second half of this volume is a prequel story about the brothers' ancestors and the Orochi curse. And I presume we're going to get more of that in the Three Brothers section sometime, because we're following ancestors of them and their encounter with this curse and fighting the curse and things like that. But that doesn't happen in the first part of this volume. So really, you're getting two separate stories in this volume. I have to admit that I was a bit confused with that. When I got to the part where the prequel story started, I was like, wait, what's going on here? It didn't really make sense to me what was going on until I started realizing that the prequel story was about the brothers' ancestors. And there is a little note by the mangaka in here that says, "This is a story that I wrote before Laughing Under the Clouds. It takes place in the same setting, set in the Kamakura period, 600 years before the Meiji era. Characters that have significant connection to the three brothers also make an appearance, so please enjoy this somewhat fleeting story." And so that's pretty much all we get before the next section starts. And I can show you that this part here is the Three Brothers story, and this part here, the thicker part, is the prequel story. So we don't really get a lot of time with the three brothers. We get much more time with the ancestors. And yeah, I think it would have worked better for me if we got the prequel story first, being that we're meeting the ancestors of these three brothers. And then going into the story of the three brothers, because the prequel story really does feel like a complete story in itself. And then the story that we get with the three brothers, because it's so short, just feels like we're just getting like a taste of what's to come. So yeah, I really did enjoy what I read so far, though. I'm looking forward to more of the story with the three brothers and seeing how this change in the era is affecting Japan. We get a little taste of it in this story with a disgruntled samurai who has lost everything because samurai are no more in the change of the era, and they're pretty much don't have anything. They don't have their high status anymore. They lost their homes and their income, and yeah, so it's something that has definitely happened in history, and I'm looking forward to learning more about this change in the era because I don't know a lot about that particular time in Japan. But yes, we'll definitely be continuing with this. I'm intrigued with what's going on, especially with what might be happening at the prison. And so yes, I really enjoyed this one and will definitely be continuing. You know, if you've watched any of my manga hauls, that I have been collecting that one. So I will definitely be continuing to collect it because I really enjoyed what I read. So let's move into the case study of Vanitas. This one follows a vampire named Noe who is tasked to find the book of Vanitas, and he meets a vampire doctor named Vanitas who has the book. Then gets roped into helping Vanitas cure vampires who have kind of gone crazy. So I've talked a little bit again in my manga hauls about the fact that I have had trouble with Jun Mochizuki's other work, Pandora Hearts. I had read it a while back and I just felt general confusion about what was going on in the story. And I have to admit that I had the same experience here. So it's definitely something with the mangaka's writing that's not clear to me, I guess. I read through this entire volume and at the end I had a feeling of what did I just read? And the story didn't really stick. I had to discuss this with my daughter after she had read it because I was like, wait, what happened? Can you tell me? Like, I didn't want to have to go back and reread it because then I would have had to read it twice. And on a reread, I definitely would need to scrutinize a bit more because, like I said, I read through this. I didn't skim at all. I actually read through. I took a good amount of time. I think this volume took me an hour to read, so I was definitely taking my time, especially because I knew I had such trouble with the mangaka's other work. And I still, at the end of this volume, was just like, what happened? What did I read? It definitely didn't feel like a set story to me. I definitely still felt confused. I understand the things that had happened, but it really was just dropping you basically into a story and you're just following along. Nothing really happens. I mean, we see the book being used to cure these vampires, but I don't know like where the end game is to this story. I don't know where we're heading with this. At the end of this volume, you learn that Noe has a secret, but you don't know what that secret is, obviously. And yeah, I just feel really uneasy about where I was with this story, where I am at the end of reading this volume. My daughter is like, that's what makes a volume good. It makes you want to read some more because you don't understand what's going on. And I get that sentiment, but for me, I don't like that feeling. I want to feel like I want to continue reading because it was interesting to me. Something in this story interests me, but in this series, I feel like I have to continue reading because I don't know what's going on. Which is unfortunate because it's a story about vampires and I really enjoy stories about vampires. But yeah, just general uneasiness about where this story took me, just what's going on, and I don't like that feeling. I can definitely see why Hanai Natsuki was hired to voice act Vanitas, because I can definitely see him in the character. I could definitely hear his voice while I was reading that character's lines. Because I've watched him play so many games, I've watched a couple of interviews he's done as well. But yeah, definitely a good choice as far as the role. But still, I just don't like how I'm feeling after reading this. So I will be continuing because I do have 3 volumes of this. My daughter really enjoyed this volume. And to be honest, some of the other people at the manga club meeting also felt confused like I did. So yeah, the art style is gorgeous. I really enjoy Juno Chizuki's art style. The story, though, very confusing to me. I don't like how I feel. And I especially don't like the fact that I feel like I need to reread this volume in order to continue, because nothing really stuck. I feel confused, and yeah. So I will be continuing because I'm confused. And I want to feel more settled in where this story is going. So hopefully in the other volumes that I do own, which I believe we have 3 now, that will give me that. If not, I'll reassess at that time. But yes, I enjoyed it, but am confused. Don't enjoy how I'm feeling at the end. My daughter really enjoyed it. I didn't talk about the art style in this. I really enjoyed the art style as well. I actually feel like this was more like reading a cartoon than reading a manga. The art style is very much more animated feeling than like even this. So yes, really enjoyed Laughing Under the Clouds more than Vanitas, but will definitely be continuing with both of those volumes. So as per usual, before I let you go, I do want to let you know what the January selections will be in case you'd like to read along with us, and let me know your thoughts in next month's Monochrome Manga Club series First Impressions video. So we will be reading Volume 1 of Night of the Ice by Yayoi Ogawa. This one is published by Kodansha and is rated older teen, about a male figure skater who can't land his quads unless he hears his favorite magical girl slogan. So I've been really interested in this one. I think it's a good time to read it, especially with the Winter Olympics coming up. And so yes, this will be our first in a series selection for January. And then we will also be reading Volume 1 of Shortcake Cake by Sue Morishita, published by Viz, rated teen. This one follows a girl who has moved into a local boarding house because she lives too far away from her high school. And so it's about her kind of forming new relationships, maybe getting some romantic relationships as well. And so yes, we will also be reading that one. That is a completed series, and it's been one that I've been wanting to read for a while, so I'm glad to be reading it with the club. And then, because we have finished our series read, the club members have decided that they would like to do 2 series reads at the same time. And so, as voted on by the members of my manga club, we will be reading A Silent Voice. So we will be doing 2 volumes of A Silent Voice by Yoshitoki Oima. This one is published by Kodansha, rated teen, about a bully. This guy here on the cover bullies the girl because she is deaf and actually does some really terrible things to her. And then there's a time jump where we meet up with both of these characters later in life, and he's kind of reassessing his actions towards her, I guess. We did read Volume 1 for a manga club selection, I'm gonna say 2 years ago. And so yes, they have decided that they would like to read the entire thing, so we're going to be reading 2 volumes per month of this, so volumes 1 and 2 in January, and then we will also be reading 2 volumes of Death Note, and it's upside down, of Death Note by Tsugumi Oba, art by Takeshi Obata. I have the all-in-one edition here, so it's just one thick, heavy brick. This one is published by Viz and is rated older teen. This one follows a boy named Light, and he stumbles across a notebook that was dropped by a Shinigami, or death god, and finds out that if he writes down the name of a person in this book, that person dies. And so he starts trying to use it to clean up criminal activity, I guess, is the best generalization I can give you. This is a beloved series. Lots of people have read it. Lots of people enjoy it. Lots of people don't enjoy it. I have watched the entirety of the anime, so I do know kind of what happens in the story. I'm interested to see what differences there might be between that and this story. I'm one of those people that loved the first half, hated the second half of the anime. So, yeah, it's been a while since I've seen it, though I'm still very familiar with the story. I feel like I remember quite a lot, so it'll be interesting to visit this. And yes, so we will be reading 2 volumes or 1 black edition of Death Note. And so, yeah, that's going to be a lot of reading in January. So let me know down in the comments below if you've read Laughing Under the Clouds or the case study of Vanitas and what you thought of them. But please, no spoilers past volume 1, because that is what we are talking about here. Also, let me know if you'll be interested in reading along in any of January's selections. I would love it if some of you would join in and discuss them with me down in the comments below. And that will pretty much do it for me today. So I hope you're all doing great. I hope you're all safe and healthy. And until next time, take care and smile always. Bye.